Okay, gentlemen, good luck to both of you. Buena suerte a los dos. This is high over here. This is high over here. Okay. Touch him up. Good luck. Buena suerte.
All right, we're set. Stevens and Primera, the rematch.
Right off the bat, Curtis Stevens never stares at his opponents. He always look up or look away. This time he stood Primera dead in the eye.
Then he starts staring at you.
Oh.
I'm safe though.
Tom.
Different weight class.
Security behind me.
Done.
So we get underway with round number 1. July the 20th. Controversial stoppage. Primera a winner.
This time, Bob, Curtis Stevens says more body punches and overhand right countering Primera's low left hand. Let's see if he does it.
No lo puje, no lo puje.
Primera said he's very confident this fight. The first time they met, he knew nothing about Curtis Stevens. This time around, he told me and Steve that he watched footage of the first fight.
You know, the one thing, Steve, you mentioned in the open about Primera didn't spar for the first fight, took it on short notice. And he didn't really spar for this fight. You know, at 33 years of age, now I'm not saying no sparring, but at 33 years of age, if you're going to take paycheck to paycheck and grab any fight you can, what's the sense of leaving it in the gym anyway?
No, it's a very good point. You know what? The proof of his conditioning is that he weighs 162 pounds. That's light for Marcos Primera.
It's been stopped by Jermaine Taylor, Kofi Jantua, back in 2003.
And talking to him, we asked him, how hard does Curtis Stevens punch? He said hard, but not that hard. He actually said Carlos De Leon was a much harder puncher than Curtis Stevens. He fought De Leon back in May of 2005.
And he stopped De Leon in the 4th round.
Primera is fighting on an angle.
Yeah.
Which makes it very difficult for Curtis Stevens to land out the left hook and especially that right hand.
But Curtis is fighting under control, and I wanted to see if he would, because sometimes emotion takes over. He wants to avenge that stoppage loss so badly, but he's fighting intelligently and he's taking his time, which is the right way to approach a veteran like Primera.
And because of that, Brian, you mentioned that angle or lack thereof that Primera's given him. A lot of the body punches are going to the back of Primera.
He's not hitting Primera clean in the mix session. What Curtis needs to start doing, taking steps to his left, working the jab, stepping more to his left. Curtis is more comfortable moving right. He needs to start stepping left, working the jab.
Primera's bending to his right and using his shoulder to block the right hand. Very tough for Stevens to land a right when Primera's doing that.
Final seconds of the first, scheduled for 8 in the rematch.
Nice and balanced. This is what you got to do. You got to break it. All right, get yours back, baby. Get yours back.
And we begin round number 2 on Broadway Boxing. Bob Papa, Brian Adams, Steve Farhood ringside, Curtis Stevens, Marco Primera. Round number 2, we welcome in one of the great New York fighters, one of the great fighters, and now one of the best trainers in the game. James Buddy McGirt joins us here at ringside.
How you doing?
Buddy, what about the first round from Curtis Stevens?
I think that Curtis should be using his jab a little more. And I think Primera, if I'm in his corner, I jump on Curtis Stevens right away, being I stopped him the last fight in the last round. So I would jump on him to just remind him of what happened the last time. You know what I mean? So maybe he's fighting, maybe hoping that Stevens gets tired again. I don't know, but I think Stevens should be working his jab instead of trying to look for the knockout.
Good advice. You sound like you know what you're talking about.
I learned from you, Brian.
Well, Buddy McGirt, I like to personally say that to me, Buddy is the second smartest fighter I've ever seen, with Pernell Whitaker being one. And Buddy was a very intelligent.
Figures this ain't Pernell Whitaker.
A left-handed compliment, Brian.
But Buddy McGirt was an excellent, intelligent boxer. We all seen that in the Simon Brown fight. But Primera is trying to fight intelligent, but at the same time on the inside. How would you have Curtis change his tactics where Primera is not as comfortable?
Well, you said it earlier. You said that Curtis should be moving to his left. I mean, using the jab more. When the guys give you that type of angle, that's what you got to do to create openings. And he's not doing that. He's really falling into the trap by moving to his right, hitting the guy in the back. That's the only punch that's really scoring. Other than that, he's not really landing nothing flush.
You know, Buddy Primera might be frustrating Curtis a little bit, but he's not throwing any punches.
No.
Now, you say, well, that's not a good strategy, but he didn't really do anything for 7 rounds last time either, and he stopped Curtis. So who's to argue with him?
Right. Step back.
Well, they said if it ain't broke, you can't fix it, right? So
That's right.
James Buddy McGirt joining us here at ringside, here on Broadway Boxing. Your son has just signed with DiBella Entertainment. You got to be excited about that.
yeah, definitely. I mean, Lou's a great guy. And, you know, like I say earlier, I look at little things that promoters do with fighters. I don't look at the big things. I look at the little things, and I was really impressed with a lot of things Lou does with his fighters. And it's good to be back home.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see him on Broadway Boxing.
Well, the main thing here, Buddy, is the knock on Curtis. I've always seen the weakness is you could catch him coming in. And that's what Primera did the first fight. This fight, Primera is actually moving forward. He'll never be able to catch Curtis coming in.
Right. Maybe Curtis is switching up his tactics because he realized he got caught the first time coming in.
For the start of round number 3, Curtis Stevens and Marcos Primera, rematch of a July bout in which Primera stopped a 5-bout losing streak, stopping Stevens by way of TKO in the 8th. Referee Randy Newman called a halt to the action. Guys like the patience that Stevens is showing, especially with Primera kind of giving him his crazy angles.
I do. Again, he's not letting emotion get the better of him. Curtis Stevens is a knockout puncher, but he's also a thinking man's fighter. He's not a reckless guy. He throws short shots. Last round, he lay against the ropes, waiting to counter against Primera. It didn't work perfectly, but it's another tactic. And I think he's using his head in there, and he realizes he can't knock everybody out.
Intelligence stands out to me as well, Steve. First fight, he's moving forward. He abandoned the jab in certain spots. This fight, he's jabbing, he's moving backwards, and he's counterpunching, moving backwards.
Here's the interesting thing, though, guys. I mean, Stevens is doing everything he has to do. But you get the sense, just like in the first fight, that Primera has tasted some of Stevens' best punches, and he doesn't think Stevens can hurt him?
Yeah, I totally think that. And that's why it's important for Curtis to know that you can't knock everybody out. Sometimes you just got to work, break a guy down. Maybe Primera will be ready to go in the 7th or 8th.
I actually think it'll bode Curtis a little better if he gets some distance. Because Primera's comfortable. He wants Curtis to fight on the inside. Curtis should get distance, work his jab, and throw long right hands. He should not lay on the inside with Primera.
Very impressive body shots from Stevens.
You just get the sense that Primera just looking to counter. He's looking for that one shot.
Gets hit right in the head. He says, come on, more.
Well, he's trying to goad Stevens into the fight he wants, and Stevens isn't falling for it.
As I said in the open, Curtis is very strong mentally. He had a very strong amateur background. So I didn't think he would be rattled from that punch in the first fight.
Stevens is showing tremendous discipline here by not falling into Primera's net. Most of those punches being blocked. Good body shot by Primera.
Exactly. He's starting to open up a little.
Only a good idea for Stevens to be on the ropes if he counters. Otherwise, get off the ropes.
Wow, things opened up here in round number 3.
gotta
Thunderous
fight.
body shots from both. We begin round 4, scheduled for 8. Curtis Stevens, 13-1 with 11 knockouts, 21 years of age, from Brownsville in Brooklyn. Marcos Primera, 20-15, fighting out of North Carolina by way of Venezuela. They met in July. Primera stunned everybody here at the Manhattan Center as he stopped Stevens in the 8th.
Interesting enough, Andre Rozier, the trainer, uncle of Curtis Stevens, who I respect as a trainer, he told Curtis, stay right. Stay to his right, which I really didn't understand because Curtis got hurt on Primera's right side the first fight.
Let's go, you're free.
So they want him moving into the right hand.
What they mean, stay to your right, where his back is turned to you.
And that will make sense. See, here's where I think Curtis should use distance.
Just not enough coming back from Primera. It doesn't really matter where they fight or what distance. Primera's not throwing.
Well, maybe he's going to just follow the game plan that he used at the end of round 3. Wait for the last 30 seconds, go on the aggressive attack, and hope you catch Stevens. But Pipe figures, I hurt him once, I can hurt him again.
Yeah, but that might be the worst thing for him, to know that he's able to stop Stevens because he's maybe relying too much on that one-shot power.
Let him go.
And Curtis Stevens, if he's looking for the knockout, well, it's not like nobody has ever stopped Marcos Primera. He's been stopped 4 times in 15 losses, but he has been stopped 4 times by smaller guys than Curtis Stevens.
Nice body shot by Primera.
Looks like Stevens wants him on the inside because Primera tried to get off the ropes and Stevens bodied and shouldered him back in.
And they're actually talking to one another on the inside.
Primera does speak English, by the way. Lives in North Carolina.
Step back, step back, step back.
See, I would like to see that jab that Curtis has.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Did he hear you, Brian?
But throw some work behind that jab. He stood right in front of Primera with three jabs.
We roll to the end of round 4, midway point of this 8-rounder. Stevens and Primera.
It's all right.
Corner
Step
of Curtis
around him.
Stevens.
That's all that counts.
If he don't do nothing, shoot the jab and keep walking. Walk the angle.
He's waiting to come on at the end.
Right.
His actions from round 4. In round 3, it was Primera who was against Stevens, who was against the ropes. Again, Stevens against the ropes here, but for large portions of the round, he pinned Primera, as you see here. And Stevens very comfortable to fight on the inside. Basically, Primera not throwing enough punches to keep Curtis Stevens busy. Here's the only flurry he had in the 4th round. Most of those shots missed. And Stevens answers.
All right. Second job. To the right. All right.
All right. Nice and sharp, baby. Don't lay on the ropes. You hear me? Stay in the middle of the ring.
Watch your head inside.
Round number 5 underway. Primera and Stevens, no knockdown so far. So we heard the corner of Stevens, Brian. They said, stay to your right.
Exactly. But it's evident that Primera is definitely much more confident this time out. The first bout, he retreated all night until the last round. Tonight he has been coming forward.
Swelling under the right eye of Primera.
Now Primera kind of tickling Stevens with that jab. You know, it's almost like he'd rather win the psychological war than the actual physical battle. And maybe he's winning the psychological war, but he's definitely losing the fight.
You look at his height, you look at his reach, and you say, I wonder if he can control this fight with his jab, but he prefers to not fight that way.
Let's go, you're free, let's go, step back, come on.
I think to this point, Stevens has shown nice restraint as far as sticking with the game plan.
No, I agree. Real patient. But Steve, you said he's a very intelligent boxer. I mean, that's clear. That's clearly being shown here.
And if you don't know Curtis Stevens and you haven't seen him fight, what makes him a knockout puncher is short, technically sound shots. Not long, big, long shots because he has a short reach. He's got to be close to you and explode kind of the way Tyson did at his best when he would be in close.
Yes.
Not long jumping hooks and long right crosses.
Keep your punches in front.
And the body shot.
Punches in front, Curtis.
Stevens got Primera a little in the back.
That's not a fair warning, though. Because Primera is giving him that angle. He's giving him his back.
Brian, if you were in the ring against a guy like Primera, he's trying to bait you into a certain style fight, but so far it's pretty evident. Good left hand to the body by Stevens. He's going to wait until the final 30 to 40 seconds of the round. I mean, Stevens almost can tell at the beginning part of the round, this guy's really not going to come after me. I could do whatever I want.
Well, it's a no-win situation fighting a guy like Primera, because in order to really control the action, you have to set a boring pace.
Watch your head inside, watch your head.
Curtis is fighting the best way he can on the inside. He's not really hitting Primera clean. To get off clean shots, you have to fight a guy like Primera on the outside.
Final seconds of the fifth. Not a lot of punches coming from Primera here in the fifth. A little bit there. Too little, too late.
Time!
Broadway boxing from the Manhattan Center of New York. Curtis Stevens and Marcos Primera embark upon round number 6. It is scheduled for 8. Stevens has been the aggressor. He's landed the more telling blows. Primera had a couple of moments near the end of rounds 2 and 3, but he's pretty much been segmented and when he elects to actually take the offensive, and that's usually in the final minute of the round.
Bob, I think how we view this fight is very much colored by what happened the first time. Because, you know, Primera came into that fight with 5 straight losses. He fought this kind of fight, sort of similar. And, you know, you're thinking to yourself, well, he's a trial horse, he's going to lose. And then, of course, he pulls the upset in the 8th round. So you're almost giving him a little more leeway here, saying, well, maybe he could do that again. I think the odds are pretty long that he's going to pull off a dramatic come-from-behind knockout again.
To me, Brian and Steve, Stevens looks a little bit more under control tonight than he did in July.
Well, Curtis should be confident. Because as you mentioned, Steve, the first fight, he was winning. So it's not like he was losing and then got knocked out. He was winning. He got caught with 1 shot. Randy Newman stepped in. Randy Newman was close to the action. He thought the fight should have been called, and he called it. So it's not like Curtis should have been down on himself. He was winning the fight.
Yeah, but he still got stopped for the first time in his career. That's got to be tough psychologically.
Well, we're going to bring that storyline up if this fight gets to the 8th round and what might be going through Stevens' head at that point if he feels he's comfortably ahead and we have him ahead.
Well, let's see how he fights and how he reacts in the 8th round.
Puños enfrente, puños enfrente.
Curtis just missed a lethal left hook. Now it looks like he's a little anxious.
Primera with his jab. We're under a minute to go in the round. Now Primera decides to throw.
When Primera jabs, his right hand is like almost to his waist.
And he doesn't bring his left hand back either. He's dying to be countered. Stevens just has to pull the trigger.
Right. Step back, please. Step back, step back. 5.
And Primera right back in his chest.
Nice butt.
Cabeza, cuidado.
Primera led with his head there. You see he's doing it again.
Yes.
He wants to make it dirty.
Let's go. You're free. Let's go. Work out of here. Come on.
Curtis initiated the whole deal.
Primera's doing enough to make some of the rounds look good, but not enough to win any of them.
Le ponemos un poquito de presión y se te muere. ¿Ok? Después se va a la defensiva a él y no quiere tirar golpes si tú te le pones fuerte. Cuando único tira golpes, cuando tú le das el tiempo para que tire. ¿Ok? Eso, vamos a ponerle presión en estos dos últimos rounds a ver lo que tiene. ¿Ok? Vamos.
It's set for the start of round number 7. Curtis Stevens and Marcos Primera.
Time. Está allí, está allí.
Water flow in Curtis Stevens' corner. They have to clean that up.
You don't want one of the boxers slipping.
Mike Ortega's not happy with the water spillage.
Slippery.
A little water in the corner of Curtis Stevens as we get set for the start of round number 7 against Marcos Primera. Referee Mike Ortega wants that cleaned up. Last thing you want is got to slip in the corner and then get caught and get knocked out.
Well, with 2 rounds to go in this fight, the punch I'm looking for, Curtis Stevens' counter right hand. Primera's fighting from a more conventional stance now. His left hand is low. When he jabs, he doesn't bring it back. Stevens just has to time him, and Curtis is a natural counterpuncher.
Primera blocks some of this, but at the end of the day, he's not throwing anything back.
Is it raining?
It feels that way. Yeah, Primera's just not active enough. I guess his strategy is to come out the 8th round and jump right on Curtis.
Well, we talked about the fact that he sparred 0 rounds for this. Now, he had a month notice. I don't know why he didn't spar, but he's fighting like a guy who doesn't feel confident enough to fight 3 minutes a round.
Well, he said he jogged this time around.
Well, listen, if you're taking this many punches, whether you're blocking part of it or not, if I was him, I wouldn't spar either. Last thing I want to do is have the number of hits pile up.
Curtis should actually throw short left hooks to the left chest. Left shoulder, left chest of Primera.
Let him out.
Primera yapping a little bit.
He's going to wait too late to open up. He think by, he heard it with an overhand right.
Look at that, Primera looked for the ropes.
And the right hand came from distance. I would like to see Curtis keep distance.
That's an impressive display by Stevens. Baby shot, baby shot, baby shot, power shot.
See Primera try to shoot it right back at him.
He tried. He didn't catch him flush.
A lot of those punches bouncing off the arms, but that's the end.
Let's go. Give me something big. Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Eighth and final round for Stevens and Primera.
Okay, let's go, box.
You know, this is almost like a football team that comes out of nowhere, gets to the playoffs, and then loses. You have to wait a whole year until hopefully they'll get back to the playoffs to find out how they react and how they learn from the moment of truth. This is pretty much the same fight that these two had in July. It was in this 8th round that Primera caught Stevens and got the stoppage. How does Stevens react?
He looks good. He's still being aggressive. He's still looking for opportunities. He haven't let his emotions take over up to this point. And he's still throwing hard shots. You can tell he's looking for the knockout. And face it, anything less than a knockout, Primera has bragging rights. Look at that right hand with Primera jab.
Left hand to the body from Primera. This right above us. Stevens missed the counter off it. Another right hand to the body from Primera. Now Stevens tries to turn the tables here.
I know Stevens wants to counter, and that's why he was laying against the ropes, but that's just inviting trouble, especially in the 8th round, given what happened last time.
Midway point of the final round.
See, Curtis should step right there, bend his knees, step to his left, and dig hook.
Off the shoulder.
It's the only way he'll get punching surface.
Right, he's not going to hit him with a right hand. Keep him pinned right there. Plant yourself, dig hook.
Well, Primera's got less than a minute. Cannot be saved by the bell in any round.
Yeah, less than a minute the first fight.
Didn't have that coming at him, though. Stevens took his history lesson. He got off the ropes.
20 seconds left. Again, he tried to uppercut that caught Curtis coming in, but he just missed this one. Last 10 seconds for Primera to bring something out the bag.
Not this night. There's the bell to end it. Stevens and Primera in the rematch. This time Stevens does not make the mistake in the crucial spot, Brian. And Primera took a lot of punishment, but Stevens got it done.
But I'm glad to see the educational process continue for the young man.
Primera could not deliver that one blow to hurt Stevens throughout the course of the fight. Did Curtis Stevens avenge his loss in July to Primera? We'll tally the judges' scorecards when we return to Broadway Boxing after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Tommy Kazmarek has it 79-73. Judge Steve Weisfeld has it 79-72. And Alan Rubenstein has it 80-72. For the winner by unanimous decision, Curtis Showtime Stevens.
So Stevens responds after his first loss as a professional to Primera back in July with a dominant unanimous decision victory.